Mullein, the shepherd's lung herb. Mullein has been used as a lung herb for thousands of years. It's a tall plant, sometimes growing up to 2 meters high, with bright yellow flowers and soft fuzzy leaves. The ancient Romans actually used to dry the long stalks and dip them in beeswax to use as torches. The name itself comes from the Latin word mollus, which means soft because of those velvety leaves. For centuries, European shepherds fed mullein to their cattle when the animals had bronchitis or a bad cough. And on the other side of the world, Native American tribes were doing the exact same thing for the same problems, completely independently of European doctors. Two cultures, the same plant, the same use. The active compounds in mullein are saponins and a jelly-like substance called mucilage. The saponins thin out mucus and make it easier to clear. The mucilage coats irritated airway tissue and soothes it, which is why mullein actually works for both wet and dry coughs. Mullein has had a real comeback in recent years among people trying to recover their lung function after years of smoking. The clinical evidence is still limited, but a 2002 Turkish study showed that mullein extract was effective against some of the bacteria that cause respiratory infections. One note, if you drink it as a tea, you have to filter out the tiny hairs on the leaves. Those hairs can actually irritate the throat. Traditionally, people strain it through a fine cloth. Eucalyptus, the Aboriginal fire leaf. Eucalyptus is native to Australia. Aboriginal people have been crushing the leaves and using them for fevers, colds, and respiratory infections for thousands of years. The first Europeans to arrive in Australia in the late 1700s noticed how powerful the plant was, and they actually spread it across the world really quickly. In the 19th century, eucalyptus trees were planted on purpose in swampy areas to fight malaria. Roman doctors had known for centuries that swamps cause disease, but they couldn't figure out why. Eucalyptus trees absorb a huge amount of water, which means they essentially drain the swamps and destroyed the breeding grounds for mosquitoes. By accident, but it worked. Today, you can still find eucalyptus forests in Italy, California, and Ethiopia that were planted for exactly that reason. The plant's main power is in a volatile oil called eucalyptol. Eucalyptol thins out mucus and opens up the airways. A 2014 German study showed that eucalyptol significantly reduced symptoms in patients with acute bronchitis. Here's an interesting fact. That familiar scent in Vicks VapoRub is actually eucalyptus oil. The same goes for most menthol candies, most cold syrups, and pretty much every decongestant rub on the shelf. Most of us have actually been using this plant our entire lives without knowing it. One warning, pure eucalyptus oil should never be swallowed directly. Even a few drops can cause poisoning, especially in children. Inhaling it as steam is a safe and effective traditional use. Thyme, the original Listerine. Thyme was so valuable in ancient Egypt that it was actually used in the mummification process. The Egyptians believed thyme had protective powers, both physical and spiritual. The ancient Greeks burned it in temples, and soldiers used to bathe in thyme water before battle because it was thought to give courage. The name itself comes from the Greek word thymos, which means courage. In medieval Europe, during the plague, people would burn thyme in their homes. There was actually a scientific reason behind it, they just didn't know what it was. The volatile oil in thyme genuinely reduces airborne bacteria and fungi. The active compound is thymol. It's such a powerful antiseptic that it's still used today in mouthwashes, toothpaste, and disinfectants. The original formula for Listerine actually had thymol as its main active ingredient. For respiratory issues, thyme is especially good for productive coughs. A 2006 German study showed that a syrup containing thyme and ivy extract significantly reduced symptoms of acute bronchitis. A handful of fresh thyme or a teaspoon of dried in a cup of boiling water. Steep for 10 minutes. It's a classic recipe for colds, productive coughs, and sore throat. Sage, the Latin savior. Sage's Latin name is salvia, and that name comes from the verb salvare, which means to save or to heal. The name the Romans gave to this plant tells you exactly how much they valued it. There's an old Latin saying that goes, "Why should a man die who has sage in his garden?" In medieval Europe, there's a famous formula called the vinegar of the four thieves. The story goes that during the plague in Marseille, four thieves who were robbing the dead were caught and asked why they hadn't gotten sick. Their answer was that they drank a daily mixture of sage, rosemary, thyme, and lavender vinegar. The story itself is debatable, but that formula was actually used in European herbal pharmacies for centuries. For respiratory issues, sage is most valuable for sore throat and laryngitis. The active compounds are thymol, camphor, and rosmarinic acid. That trio works as both an antibacterial and a soothing agent. A 2009 Swiss study showed that a sage and echinacea combination was about as effective for sore throat as a chlorhexidine spray. The traditional use is really simple. A handful of dried sage leaves goes into boiling water, steeps for 5 minutes, and once it cools, you either gargle with it or drink it. It's a classic for sore throat, tonsillitis, and gum issues. One note, sage shouldn't be used in high doses during pregnancy or while breastfeeding. A compound in it called thujone can cause problems if taken in large amounts. Licorice root, the pharaoh's throat herb. Licorice root has been used for respiratory issues since the time of the Egyptian pharaohs. A bundle of licorice root was actually found in Tutankhamun's tomb. The pharaohs used to chew the root on long journeys to deal with coughing and throat irritation. In ancient Greece, Hippocrates gave it the name Glycia rhiza, a combination of the Greek words glykos, meaning sweet, and rhiza, meaning root. The modern scientific name is still the same. In Chinese medicine, licorice root is known as gan kao, and it actually shows up in almost every classic formula. There's a reason for that. Licorice harmonizes neutralizes the effects of other herbs and softens their side effects. More than 70% of traditional Chinese prescriptions contain it. Chinese physicians actually call it the peacemaker of prescriptions. The active compound is glycyrrhizin. This compound is 50 times sweeter than sugar, which is why the plant has that distinctive sweet taste. Glycyrrhizin softens mucus, relaxes the bronchial tubes, and protects the lining of the airways. A 2015 Indian study showed that licorice root extract significantly reduced both the severity and the duration of cough in upper respiratory infections. There's also a form called DGL, which stands for deglycyrrhizinated licorice. This is licorice with the glycyrrhizin removed, because glycyrrhizin can actually raise blood pressure if taken in high doses for a long time. DGL is the form people use for stomach ulcers and acid reflux. One warning, people with high blood pressure, kidney issues, or pregnant women should stay away from regular licorice. The DGL form is the safer option for those people. Hyssop, the biblical purifier. Hyssop is one of the oldest medicinal plants in the Western world, but it's a plant most people today have never even heard of. The name itself is significant. Hyssop is mentioned 12 times in the Bible. The most famous mention is in Psalm 51. Purge me with hyssop and I shall be clean. In Jewish tradition, hyssop was actually the plant used for both spiritual and physical purification. There's an interesting historical debate around it. For years, scholars argued about whether the hyssop in the Bible is actually the same plant as today's Hyssopus officinalis. Some suggested it was a relative of thyme, but in 1992, botanical study confirmed that the hyssop in the ancient text is most likely the plant we know as hyssop today. The active compounds are pinocamphone and hyssopin. These work as expectorants, antivirals, and mild antibacterials. Traditionally, hyssop is used for chronic bronchitis, asthma, and respiratory congestion. In 17th century Europe, there was a famous recipe called hyssop vinegar. A handful of hyssop leaves would be added to a liter of apple cider vinegar and left for 2 weeks. That vinegar was taken by the spoonful for cough and throat irritation. Modern research is limited, but a 2018 Iranian lab study found that hyssop extract showed a significant effect against the herpes virus. One warning, hyssop oil at high doses carries a risk of seizures, especially in people with epilepsy, but moderate use as a tea is generally considered safe.